How's everyone?
I'm back, baby.
It's Jake Ciely.
I'm great. Everybody else sucks.
Oh,
Oh no! It's every nightmare I've ever had!
Excuse me?
It's time to check the link.
Pretty crazy, huh? But it doesn't matter because none of this has anything to do with the show.
You know what? You just made the list!
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
It's all in football.
Sure, we talk about it all the time. Really? No.
What is up, you dogs? It is championship week of All in Football for the fantasy football season, live on BetsTV on the YouTube page or BetsTV.com. You can now watch. As always, make sure you're following Stepmom Lauren at Stepmom Lauren. Tino even subscribed. Finally, it only took him 17 weeks to get there. We should have a whole separate show, like with the intro before we even come on, because I sat there explaining to Tino and Lauren what the Run the Pools shirt that I'm wearing is, like Run the Jewels from the road. So this complicated, involved story of why it's Deadpool t-shirt, but Run the Pools, but it's also not the Run the Pools logo. It's the Deadpool, which is semi-inappropriate, as Lauren said. But Lauren's going to wear a t-shirt next week that she didn't think was appropriate for the show. Is like one of my favorite sayings of all time. So we'll see that next week. Look at that. Look at the tease to come back on week 18, which is a special show on Tuesday. Next week, everybody, no Monday show, Tuesday only. Meanie is coming over and joining this insanity. Duck yeah for the Tuesday show. And hopefully you won't be wearing your salty shirt. Although I do like the salty. You shouldn't be salty. You're going to get to that in a second. As a reminder, the code ALLIN, 20% off at FTN and theathletic.com/BetsTV, all capitals. Get your first free month. You shouldn't be salty, Lauren, because I'm a man that wins a lot of bets. I win a lot of contested things. But I will admit when the other person won, and I was going to start this show by saying, we sat here and I said, let's do a friendly dollar bet or whatever it might be for week 16, Gaskin versus Duke Johnson. The answer was nobody, but Duke Johnson versus Gaskin. You were correct in that one. Gaskin was not only not the lead, not only not really used in the passing game, it was a full-blown committee, Lauren, and he was third in the full-blown committee in that game. It was disgusting. Your answer of wanting nothing to do with any of them was the correct answer overall.
Thank
but
you.
you also
Thank
won.
you.
You also won the part of Duke versus Gaskin. So there you go.
I know. See, I'm kind of good at this, sort of.
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of.
And I know the matchup was bad, but what the hell, Devontae Parker? I mean, what the hell? I mean, it's like, so we don't normally. This is mostly a waiver show, but this is Monday Night Football game. So like, are you taking anything away from this game? And because the Ian Book kind of ruined the Saints offense. If you faced the Miami defense, jokingly said this last night, if you had a 25-point lead and all you had to face was the Miami defense and you went to bed, you're not waking up happy. You're waking up to a miserable surprise. Yes. Are you taking anything away from this game outside of just don't start the Dolphins backfield in week 17?
I am not going to take anything else away except for what you just said. But it was very disappointing not having anything for Devontae Parker. It was, and I was not aware of this because I had gone inside to go make myself a beverage, come back outside, and we had our really good friend and neighbor over and my husband. They're like, oh my God, Tua just got done yelling at Devontae Parker. And I thought they were messing with me because said friend neighbor is also who I was playing against. Yes, the game was playing outside and inside too, but I wasn't really paying attention. But when I came back out, the neighbor who I went up against
part was just what you should have just stuck with. But go ahead, continue.
Very true. I have to pay attention.
I was texting with Fabiano last night because he was facing Graham Barfield in the flex leagues, which you declined.
Oh boy!
And he was up 35 points and was sweating out Graham only having the Miami defense left, and he kept texting me because the site we're not using next year. It's not doing very well for us this year. But anyway, point being, he's like, "Am I still winning? Am I still winning?" I'm like, dude, it's like, do you know how infrequently a defense scores 30 plus points? And he was sweating out all night. And we were also both texting the fact, like, this is the part of the job we actually hate. We actually hate when we have to sit through and watch 60 minutes of football, 3 hours, please, of that kind of football. That was miserable football.
Yeah, it really was. And the fact that Tua started yelling at Devontae Parker and it didn't even look like he knew where he was supposed to be on the field was very strange.
Parker?
Parker. It was very, very weird.
Yelling at him to get to the other side and they called the timeout.
It was a hot mess. But then because I started paying attention to that, and he's like, oh, where do I go? I don't have any idea. It's like, oh my God, what is happening right now? It was not fun. But no, I'm not really going to sweat that. What I'm going to do is stick with my guns. Miles Gaskin is trashkins, as you had previously said before. Don't trust the Miami backfield. Stop it.
See, I should have learned from George and Seinfeld, you don't ever go back into the trash. You don't ever.
For the donut?
Is it Eclair? Don't even if it's sitting on top.
Excuse me.
Even if it's on the top, do not go back into the trash. It's
Thank you.
They don't go chasing heartache, break waterfalls, Texans backfield. Although we're gonna have to talk about them. To the people asking, no, the Flex Leagues is moving to Sleeper next year, which I highly recommend for everybody.
Highly
especially
recommend.
because Sleeper also automatically does the double headers for you. The one thing, and I already contacted them for next year, the one thing is that you can't alter the playoff matchups. Like in my home league, we do top two scores, and then the championship game to kind of avoid some of the luck of the playoffs, of the frustration, which is why we have double headers to begin with. They don't let you change once the playoffs start, so we have to do it manually. But they said things they're looking into for 2022, so hopefully that changes. We're not talking about that backfield just yet. The backfield that shall not be named. We are not talking about it yet. We're not talking about the running back that probably won and ruined some people's leagues, depending on when they were, because there were some desperate ones, including, hey, look, Matt Schauf in the Flex League started Rex Burkhead in advance. Congratulations there. We're going to do our duck yes or duck no, Lauren.
I'm excited.
And my tweet last night was the surprise. So we do have the duck no, but we also now have a duck yes.
Hey! Oh, that makes me so happy. Yes. Jake,
you
have just made my week.
It legitimately almost matches. Shut up! It's still going. The emoji here. Look, it's almost exactly the same as the emoji.
It is almost exactly like the emoji. Well done. Well done. Excellent Amazon purchase.
So I guess I should hold it this way. Wait, that's way too far away. All right, so duck yes or duck no. And the duck yes or duck no comes down to one specific player and a position we don't usually spend a lot of time on. Trey Lance could be winning championships, Lauren. This is Trey Lance time. We saw how much he ran in his start. This is the appeal of Justin Fields and all the rest, but looked a little bit, he wasn't that much better than Trey. Let's be honest. He struggled just as much as Justin Fields throwing the ball at times. But Justin Fields, what we've seen from him so far is when the bad is bad, it's super bad. So Lance is kind of in the middle. It's like he hasn't looked as good as Fields, but he also hasn't looked as bad as Fields. So that's what we're doing. And that's what we're going to do. I want to know if you have a waiver option and you need to go get a quarterback, would you go after Trey Lance because would you bench the quarterback you have, duck yes or duck no, for week 17? Your championship is on the line, Lauren. Is Lance going to be your starting quarterback if? We'll start low. We'll start easy. And we're not going to say Jimmy Garoppolo because Jimmy Garoppolo's not an option. We'll say Ryan Tannehill or Trey Lance. Ryan Tannehill faces the Rams in L.A.
Duck, yeah, I am going to start Trey Lance. Duck, yeah, baby.
I'm going to put him over here while he shuts up. He just keeps going. Can you hit it a second time?
That is quite a solid.
Oh, my God, shut up. It just keeps going. All right. Duck yes or duck no, I 100% agree. Mm-hmm. Would you go Trey Lance? Or how about this one? Justin Fields coming back against Pittsburgh.
I would go duck, yeah, Trey Lance.
Yeah, duck, yeah.
Duck, yeah, Trey Lance.
That's good. Barkley. Oh, Barkley's interested now.
Oh, no, Barkley's like, give it to me. I want it now.
She already destroyed. By the way, I ordered a couple of these because they are dog toys. It's a complete sidebar for everybody. I ordered one's a koala, so I ordered 3. I ordered the duck. What was the other one? What the heck was the other one? I can't even think of what the other one was.
Oh, no.
I put it in the closet.
Maybe?
No, because I take them out of the closet as I play with them, so like she doesn't get all the toys at once. I'll have to go look. But I already took out the koala because the only reason I bought the koala is because like, what the hell sound does a koala make?
What sound does that make?
They cheated. It's just a kid's laughter. It's just
That's creepy.
No. I wanted to find out what a koala made.
When someone's sleeping, just like squeeze that by someone's ear. Like terrible nightmares. That'd be awful.
So I'm seeing on the other side of that game, Ben Roethlisberger easily answered. So let's continue to move on. Yeah. How about this one? Let's go back to the Tennessee game. Matthew Stafford's been struggling of late. Would you do Matthew Stafford or Trey Lance? Duck, yes. Duck, no. Trey Lance over Matthew Stafford.
Duck no on that one. Duck
Yeah.
no on that one for me. I do like this. This is going so south. I love it. I do like Stafford here in this matchup. I think he can bounce back. That was a weird game, right? What a weird week. Another just awful week. Ew. But yeah, I think I would go Matthew Stafford there over Trey Lance.
Okay. I'm going to assume duck no to Justin Herbert, to Aaron Rodgers, to Patrick Mahomes, to Jalen Hurts, to Josh Allen. So I'm skipping a lot. Yeah, okay. How about duck yes? Those are a lot.
Yeah, those are all duck no's.
Yeah. All right. Duck. Okay. Chill out. Could you still hear that as I took it away?
Yes, that was so funny.
That was an aggressive one.
I know your duck's starting to get mouthy. Now your duck nose starting to get mouthy too. That's hilarious.
Right. Duck yes, duck no. Kirk Cousins, sit for Trey Lance.
Oh, this is tough. Okay, this is really tough. I will do a duck yeah for Trey Lance on this one. The reason why is I know that the Vikings already beat Green Bay, but Green Bay is pretty stout against wide receivers. They're missing Adam Thielen here. So who's stepping up? KJ Osborne and Duck, yeah, apparently really has some things to say about this. So I think I might start Trey Lance against Houston as opposed to Kirk Cousins against the Green Bay Packers. And I cannot believe those words are actually coming out of my mouth, but here we are.
I love it. I'm with Trey Lance. I'm with you. So
it's a little caliente, but hey, let's do it.
No, I'm trying to find a few more here. How about Trey Lance? If you were riding he's basically another Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr.
Oh, yes, Trey Lance.
Yeah, easy? So, yeah.
Yeah, that
easy.
was an easy one.
Yeah,
Quack.
How about this one? If Taysom Hill is back against Atlanta?
Why?
Taysom Hill or Trey Lance?
I'm going Taysom Hill over Trey Lance.
No. I do that to your take. I'm doing Trey Lance over Taysom Hill.
I love Taysom Hill. It's a weakness of mine.
No, because that game 2 weeks ago, where he didn't have a touchdown finally, that's the floor of Trey Lance. That's how bad it could be. Or not Trey Lance, Taysom Hill. Oh, I guess Trey Lance too. But that's the floor of Taysom Hill. And here's why I'm concerned. Because we've got a taste of Ian Book. And I know Taysom Hill has the contract. But is Taysom Hill always just going to be this for Sean Payton? Is he always going to be his gimmicky, we use him at sometimes? And does he go down the route of now the Matt Rule, Steve Spurrier offense where Taysom Hill comes in at sometimes, let's get an evaluation of Ian Book, or these are two quarterbacks for 2022, or are we going to try and trade or draft somebody? And what if he plays mix and match throughout the game? And that's why I'm legitimately concerned. But if you said Taysom Hill, 97% of the snaps, I'd be like, okay, cool, I'm with you. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I think it will. I don't know if it's Ian. I don't know if it's that much Ian Book time yet. So I don't think that Sean Payton is going to be forcing Ian Book in that kind of a situation. But yeah, that's why I'm solid on Taysom Hill.
Nothing to play for at this point. So that's why. All right. So how about this? A lot of people also were facing Tua and thinking they were going to lose, including Tino. But Tua had his worst game of his season, the first time he hasn't scored 12 points, as Tino told us before we came on the show. So Tino might be in this situation if you have Tua against Houston at home or Trey Lance. Duck yes or duck no to Trey Lance over Tua.
Wait, who's Miami playing?
Houston at home.
Houston at home.
No.
Yeah.
I'm looking at week 9. I was doing research. Sorry. I was doing research.
San Francisco.
Barkley, what the freaking hell?
Barkley. Okay, they're playing the Titans.
Yeah, at Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. I think it could be a close game. I think the weirdness of Devontae Parker, like literally not goose egging you there, I think is not going to repeat. Jalen Waddle is still an excellent option. Gesicki got involved as well. And Tennessee just bleeds points to quarterbacks and wide receivers. So I think I might stick with Tua, but I don't know. That's one where I'm gonna have to come back. I don't know, because that's a really tough one. It's a really tough one.
That is a really tough one.
Yeah, it is.
So you don't have an answer, is what you're telling me.
I don't have an answer.
After all that,
I'm hedging.
Barkley knocked half my crap over.
Yep. Sorry, Bark. Well, you're literally like squeaking her toys. Like that's
no. I haven't squeaked her toy in the longest time. Actually, she's never played with the poop emoji.
Well, if she's about to.
No, she's curious about. Get away from the helmet, Barkley. Look at this. This is why it's week 17. Now, I was also
I
looking
love
at...
Barkley. She needs her
Come
own
here.
little, like,
I'm trying
she
to
needs
get
her
her.
little
Come here.
seat right next to you with
Come
little doggy headphones on.
There we go. Look,
She's
do you
so
want to see
precious.
Do you want to see it?
Oh,
She's super
stop
curious,
it.
that's why.
I love how your dog's head is the size of my entire dog. And I have 2 of them. Like, I have
you
tiny,
one of those little
tiny dogs.
angry dogs.
They are not angry, okay? They're Pomeranians,
Yeah,
but they're not
okay.
jerks. They're not jerks. They are very appropriately.
You might have the
bark at
only
door.
non-jerk Pomeranians in the history.
I
of
do have
forever.
really cool Pomeranians. They're not mean. They're not like they're yappy appropriately, like when someone's at the door, but then they calm down when they're like, oh hey, they just want to sit in your lap, they want to love you, they want to give you as much of attention as
I don't
possible.
believe you.
I swear to God, I swear. I
walk around the
Pomeranians are
neighborhood,
awesome.
the biggest giant. My parents have a Great Dane, coolest. All the big dogs, all of them like, oh look, another dog. Let me be friendly, whatever. You come across one of those little blank kicking dogs, and then they like scream bloody murder and try to attack everything, and like I hate.
Well,
those
he
dogs.
does. My youngest does try to attack very large dogs, but he just has a small dog complex. But my
Exactly.
oldest dog is 17. He's super
Exactly.
cool, but he gets it. I mean, like, come on, he's very small,
Like,
but he
there's the
loves.
whole-
He doesn't like
there's the
other
thing on
dogs. He likes
Instagram
people.
where the guy pokes the dog, like just puts his finger a little bit close to. Which, by the way, that's why the Washington team fought each other. Is because did you see
that's
that?
right.
When he put
Yes,
the
I
finger in the face?
did.
Come here, Barkley. Look, I'll do it to her. Look, you want to see my finger? Look, I can put it in her face and do whatever. She doesn't care. Little chihuahuas and shih tzus and all those things, they lose their effing minds.
Mine don't. You can literally poke my dogs right in the face, and they're like, "Eh, thanks, love you too."
You deserve a treat. There you go.
Oh, good job,
All right.
Barkley.
All right, down you go. All right,
That-
let's
my-
get back
my-
on track here.
My pets are cool. So is my cat.
Don't believe you. Let's get back on track.
Receipts.
I'm assuming you're doing a major duck no to Justin Herbert, even though he's facing Denver at home.
Yes, I'm gonna do a duck no. I have to start Justin Herbert.
You would not go that far. Okay.
I wouldn't go that far.
Would you go as far as Joe Burrow home
No.
against Kansas City? No.
No.
So
Duck no.
who else is left? Oh, here's a good one. We'll finish with
boy.
this one. No. This is a good one. I think this is
Okay.
a real good one. Lamar Jackson.
scared.
We don't know how well he could potentially run if he comes back. He's still not practicing. Sounds like they're going to try and get him out there this week. But if Lamar Jackson comes back and isn't running potentially, we are not going to know. This is why it's a tough one and a good one. You have to make this decision. Lamar Jackson against the Rams defense at home, or Trey Lance for your playoff life. Championship title belt is sitting there in the window. Do you go for it with Trey Lance? Duck yes or duck no?
Duck yes. I think I do want a duck yes with Lamar Jackson. However,
Wait, Trey Lance. So you're saying duck yes, Trey Lance? Yeah.
duck yes,
right?
Trey Lance. but
Okay.
I don't know
Well, 'cause
if
then
I'm
you said
gonna
which
do.
one.
I don't know
Shut
if
up.
I'm gonna do a duck yes with Tyler Huntley. I don't know if I can do that because I like Tyler Huntley a lot.
So you do like the rainbow poop? You do
I
like
would
that's
do-
it's a special rainbow poop.
It's the special rainbow poop. Where are we? What are we doing?
It's week 17. We're having fun.
I know it's craziness. I love it. Welcome.
I
in,
have no
everybody.
idea what next week's show is going to be like.
I can't
Bring
wait.
shots, everybody.
This is the first time I'll be on a show with Chris Meany.
Yes, it will be.
Yes.
How about
it'll be
that?
fun.
Took way too
I-
long. All right,
you
so
did.
let's
You did
talk about-
prepare him, right?
No, of course not.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Listen,
come with
did I
all of my
prepare you? Do I need to
craziness.
let you know about Chris Meany?
I know Chris Meany.
I honestly think for everybody out there as a head up, just don't watch next week. It's just gonna be three
hey.
people talk. It's just gonna be three people talking over each other the entire time.
Stop it. Yeah, I should send you this shirt. You're salty.
Salty, always. Let's talk running backs and get to some help for there. Hopefully, you've been watching this show, and I'm assuming if you're watching this show this week, you have been subscribing and thumbs up. We appreciate that. I'm not saying to do that. If you haven't done that, do it again. But
Please
anyway,
do.
or wait, do it and then do it again. So Darrell Williams is what I was going to say is you've been listening to us. Darrell Williams is not sitting out there for this very reason. If he is, number one waiver priority. Do everything you possibly can. The question isn't Darrell Williams. Is that if you are running back needy, do you go grab Derek Gore too and hope that in a potentially high-scoring game, he gets 7 to 10 touches and finds a way to a big play or a touchdown? Or is he not even – basically what it comes down to, is he in flex consideration for you in Week 17?
Yeah, he absolutely is. I think especially the caveat there is if you're running back needy and if someone like Darrell Williams is not available. Yeah. Who else do we have on the waiver wire that is going to be even remotely close?
We have some options
that we're going to want to pay. I mean, well, yeah. Besides the Eagles' backfield, which I despise almost as much as I
there's
despise the Bills. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like Derek Gore. I like the offense. I like what he's been able to do.
Well,
so yeah,
we'll
I absolutely
Derek Gore
think
into
he's
the conversation with
consideration.
The rest.
Okay.
Yes. So, assuming Jordan Howard, and that's who I'm assuming who you were also talking about, you would have Jordan Howard over Boston Scott if Jordan Howard's out there, correct?
I mean, I don't know because Jordan Howard, he suffered that stinger. He's still on the neck injury. Boston Scott did score while Jordan Howard was on the field. So which one is it? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
let's go back to earlier this year. The first game when Meany and I sat here and laughed at everybody saying it was going to be everybody else and it was Boston Scott. We were like, yay, haha. But if you also noticed in that game too, Jordan Howard got his share. And then the very next week, the share was almost 50-50 sight lean to Jordan Howard, who did score when Boston Scott didn't, because Jordan Howard is going to most likely get the majority of the goal-to-go touches. So that's why I'm going Jordan Howard. Now, the obvious answer here is if there is no Jordan Howard, it's Boston Scott. But let's bring in the third person to this conversation. How much interest do you have in Kenneth Gainwell? If there is no Jordan, if it's just down to Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell, you're still no on Gainwell? You would still go Derek Gore over Gainwell?
This
team runs a hell of a lot more. Okay.
Gainwell is dead to me. Done.
I'm sorry, Kenneth Gainwell. You're not dead to me.
No, you're dead to me. Dead to me. I'm going Boston Scott over Jordan Howard anyway.
Okay. Real quick, Lee, you're going to get the same answer everybody in my waiver column. PSA, everybody. I know you're excited. I'm excited. Everybody's excited. It's Tuesday. You don't have to set your lineup today. You don't have to set up your lineup tomorrow. You don't have to set up Thursday because there is no Thursday night game. You don't have to set it up Friday. You don't have to set it up Sunday or Saturday. You do have to set it up Sunday. You have plenty of time. And if you've learned nothing from the past 3 weeks, if you set it today, it's going to be completely wrong by Sunday anyway because injuries and then the COVID insanity, just wait. Have patience. Go pick up Darrell Williams if they're out there. Go pick up Howard and Scott and all these options. But do not set your lineup today. Please don't. Duck no. Major duck no to lineup questions on Tuesday.
Yes.
So, Ramondre Stevenson, what the flippity vert to furt is he doing still on waivers? I don't know why people even dropped him after one missed game. But if he's out, did you see enough from Brandon Bolden with that Damian Harris? Holy crap, what of a game.
Wow.
But Brandon Bolden or Derek Gore in week 17 if there is no Stevenson?
Derek Gore.
Okay.
By a hair. I do like Brandon Bolden as well, but I think I will lean Derek Gore.
Okay.
Can't believe I'm saying that.
Do you have the sheet in front of you? Are you looking at it right now?
I'm not at the site this.
No,
yes,
don't pull it up.
I
Don't
am.
pull it up.
Okay.
No.
I don't have it in front of me right now. No.
Put it away.
Okay.
Put it away.
It's away. Jeez.
Spell Dare Ngumbawale for me.
Okay. OGUBOALE.
Nope.
No.
You missed the end.
Agoon. Ngumbawale. Dang it.
You were on track too.
I was close.
How about Okubuweyon?
I'm very bad at spelling out loud. I'm excellent at actually spelling.
Kubawan. Or Kubaweyon.
Alberto. That's how you spell it. Alberto.
It's OKWUEG.
And we're done.
BUNNAM. I think I got it right. I think that's it.
BANANAS. His name is Bananas. No.
It is.
Alberto. That's it.
So,
as a Missouri person, his name is Alberto.
The funny thing is, why is Ogumawale so easy?
It's so easy because it's
right.
phonetic.
Jiggles got it right. I don't know. I don't trust you, Jiggles. You're on your computer though. I don't trust it. I don't know if you got it right. But kudos if you did.
It's phonetic, perfectly phonetic, so you can follow it along.
Ogumawale got all of the work.
Sure did.
But we see that they potentially are going to bring in other options. They brought back an option, so a lot of them are question marks. Kudos to Armstead. I just want to see Armstead healthy. He's dealt with a hell of a lot. But excuse me. If it's Ogumawale, it is the Jaguars' backfield. So I'm going to pull in the next name to this because the next name to this is Rex Burkhead. who dominated that backfield. Rex Burkhead finished as a top 5 running back in Week 16, which is all you need to know about 2021.
Yep.
If your choice was Agumbawale, we'll just call him the Goon. That's what Pat Mayo calls him. We'll call him the Goon.
The Goon.
Would you start the Goon or Burkhead in Week 17 with your championship on the line? The Jaguars, now that I am not doing research with this page anymore, the Jaguars have a very tough matchup, but the Patriots are susceptible to pass-catching running backs. Houston, meanwhile, now that we have the correct matchups, has, a little bit better. San Francisco. So which way do you go, Goon or Burkhead?
This is garbage. Why do I have to choose between these two running backs? Like, could you give me a third option?
You might not have to, but like probably 60% of the people that are alive probably look at what's left out there and look at what we're sifting through. The misery.
I'd be shocked if you made it into the championship.
I wouldn't be because Matt Schaaf.
That's true.
Schaaf. Is Schaaf? Would you be Schaaf if you did? Because Matt Schaaf did it with Justin Jackson and Rex Burkhead. So let's continue.
I love Justin
Answer
Jackson.
the question.
Okay. Oh, geez, you're so bossy. Okay. Rex Burkhead. I had to think about it. I had to think about it a lot. I'm going Rex Burkhead. Sexy Rex.
After this entire year, we might as well just cancel the show. Not only have we got you two, we picked Lions wide receivers for 3 straight weeks, and now
Amon-Ra St. Brown did well. So
and now you've finally taken a Houston Texans running back.
Because the Jaguars are playing the freaking New England Patriots. Stop it!
Yeah,
I'm not doing it.
I gave you an out. They are susceptible to pass catching running backs. I gave you an out.
It's the Jags. I can't. But at the same time, it's also the Texans. I also can't. I don't know. I don't like either of these options. So to be spicy and salty and to just go against everything I've been preaching because I can do that, it's going to be Rex Burkhead just to upset you.
Everybody watching on YouTube, thumbs up for how salty, spicy, and angry Lauren is this week.
I know. That's why I think I'm just harnessing my inner salt right now.
She keeps telling me I'm the one, but if you've noticed so far. So let's continue here.
Yeah, I'm projecting.
Brian Martinez, you're late to the show. We already did Taysom Hill versus Trey Lance. Come on, man. Come on.
Taysom Hill.
We need that. Where's that? Come on, man. We need that little soundbite. We can give you. Actually,
Come
here,
on,
you get Brian gets a duck no for that. That's what you get, Brian.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah. How about Keyshawn Vaughn? Would you go as far as Keyshawn Vaughn versus Burkhead or Agumbawale the Goon?
Ew. No.
He's very similar. Look,
I will take Derek Gore out of all of them. How's that? That's the third option that I wanted.
Over Bolden, Agumbawale, Burkhead, Vaughn, and Gainwell. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. How about Derek Gore versus Jamal Williams if DeAndre Swift doesn't return again this week?
That is tough. Oh, God. See, because to me, Derek Gore has the upside here over Jamal Williams. But do I trust myself? Derek Gore.
Oh, here, I'll give you a heads up. Seattle's very weak against the run. Mm-hmm. Seattle's also potentially looking at mixed to snow potentially again.
Then I think I might have to lean Jamal Williams there. Man, that is tough. But yeah, Jamal Williams. Take me to dinners.
Speaking of weather, look out for the Packers.
For the Packers game. Oh my God, yes. That's awesome.
The single digits for that game. Single digit weather for that game. Oof. That is not a good situation. Granted, it's not a huge downgrade to the passing game. It's a tick down. It affects it, but it affects it more if you get wind involved or precipitation. And I bring that up to say, watch, single digits is already one check in the box of potentially 3 things going wrong.
Yeah. Also, but again, it's Minnesota. They're used to playing in the cold, so I don't think it's as.
I was talking more about the Packers because I was going to transition to the wide receivers.
Oh, okay, my bad.
And I was going to transition to say, Alan Lazard, we've been doing the dance. We keep saying, hey, look, it's week 17. We might get a lot of things we've been saying the entire year that we finally go back on because Lauren and I,
Exhibit A.
We've been lockstep in saying, do not chase the Packers wide receiver because it's Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and the next week it's Lazard, and then the next week it's Valdez-Scantling, and the next week it's neither of them. At this point, though, it's been a little bit more of Lazard of late. Valdez-Scantling, of course, part of it, him missing time, but sounds like he should play. But if you look at the matchup, the Vikings defense is a little bit more susceptible to slot wide receivers, whereas Lazard spends more of his time than Valdez-Scantling is. And I'm setting all this up to say, including with the weathers in play here, Lazard, a championship week, does he make your lineup, or are you just not even playing that game because you don't want to mess around with it?
I'm going to avoid the Packers wide receiver 2 hot mess. I am going to try to look elsewhere, and I'm going to try to fit another wide receiver, possibly a flex option, just depending on what your roster, what your construction looks like. I don't know if I can make that choice because where there does carry high upside, it's incredibly risky. I don't like it. I would stay away if you can. It's hard to do that, though, because MVS has upside. Lazard has upside.
Well,
again, I can't with that
Rodgers.
risk. And it's Devontae Adams. That's
Sure.
yeah, no. And especially with that kind of a weather too, this might stay on the ground a little bit more with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. So I don't know. I don't like it. I would stay away from it.
No, and no, I am not that worried about Aaron Rodgers to bench him for Taysom Hill, Justin Fields, or Carson Wentz, as you just got in the question here. So again, look, when you check the rankings, hashtag check the link, go look. I have a link to the entire weather breakdown to tell you it's a wind factor, it's a temperature factor, it's a precipitation factor, and kind of gives you, and I actually even have graphs in there. I guess they're more spreadsheet graph parts, like breakdowns, whatever. Like, what were those things that you did when in biology? It was the quadrant to figure out like what your gene pool. Do you remember those?
Alleles? Yeah. Oh, what was that called?
I forget what, but anyway, so
forget what
there's
it's called,
something in there that
too.
kind of
I
breaks
love
it all
doing
down
that.
so you can see the difference, what it drops off, and like, because it's like tiers and stuff like that to kind of give you an idea of how much the effect is. But yeah, so I'll say this. The only one that would potentially come into play, maybe Taysom Hill, but that would involve, the temperature's already there. So let's check that box, like I said.
Wait, Taysom Hill?
Yeah, Taysom Hill versus
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers. If
Gotcha. Okay.
I was going to add the two more
all the
factors. Two, if it's 15-mile-an-hour wind, still not that concerned. Aaron Rodgers, don't care. If we're talking 20-mile-an-hour winds and sleet/snow, which at that point would just be snow, then I might say, okay, maybe I would think about it. I still think Rodgers could overcome it because he's Rodgers, but when you add in precipitation with that low of a temperature, it really dings the passing game a lot.
Yeah,
as
that
you
would
just
make
saw.
sense.
Look what just happened to Seattle. Like, Metcalf got his, but overall, Russell Wilson didn't have a very good game, missed Lockett a lot of times. Lockett finished, 3 for 30 or something like that? That's what can go wrong.
And I know, and you add in that injury too with the toe. When it's cold, I don't know if anyone's been injured and having to sustain an injury.
I just got chills from
when
thinking of it.
When it's freezing cold, I don't care how well you think that that's actually healed. It will make it feel like you just hurt yourself. It is terrible dealing with an injury when it is that cold.
Yeah. I just, yeah.
Yeah, I just
Never-
like get the
especially,
heebie-jeebies right there. Just like, ooh.
like any appendage that you
Oh,
bang.
yeah.
Oh, you're just like,
Eee.
yeah. So let's move up from Lazard. And this is why I started with him, because I have some names above him.
Okay.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is obvious.
Yes.
Completely wrong about that. I put him down into the low 30s when I heard Tim Boyle was at quarterback because I said, hey, Tim Boyle, I've seen you play. The Mike Glennon, Jake Fromm, why we really weren't interested in Kadarius Toney and Kenny Galladay. I was like, that's why I'm not that interested. Low 30s was completely wrong because Amon-Ra St. Brown is the new Allen Robinson, as I mentioned on yesterday's show, and he is the quarterback immune, as have changed. I used to call it like quarterback proof, but since the past 2 years, now we're saying immune. He's quarterback immune. And you start Amon-Ra St. Brown. Anyway, this is the one. Alan Lazard, speaking of immune, we're not going to get Gabriel Davis Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley or Gabriel Davis are both out again for week 17. They are on the 10-day. They were unvaccinated. So Isaiah McKenzie just went off. Isaiah McKenzie versus Alan Lazard, week 17. Which way are you going?
Isaiah McKenzie.
Okay.
Yes.
Confidence level 1 to 5.
5 being the highest?
Yes. Well, because
4.
5 is the highest.
I'll go a 4. Well, I'll tell you a story about that after the show.
Okay. That was also a Friends reference.
I would say a 4 out of the 5. I'm not a huge Friends person. Like, I watched a little bit of
now I
Friends, but I
realize
was
why we're
not
not on the same page. Yeah.
obsessed with Friends as most people are. This just wasn't. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like have to watch every single episode.
Yeah. That's also the whole thing was Joey was like 1 to 10, and he's like, which is the highest? He's like 10. He's like, why? He's like, and then Ross is like, because it's the highest. Like that's the whole...
Yeah. Woo! Right over.
Yeah. So there you go. Where was I going? So you just made me. Oh, how about letdown game because the offense passed 23 times. 23. He still led his team, but they threw 23 times. Russell Gage was a lot of fun until last week. Do not ask me what Atlanta was doing in that game, but do you go back to Russell Gage versus playing Allen Lazard in Week 17 in your championship?
I think I would. I think I would go back to Russell Gage there, simply because of where he stands
Buffalo?
in the depth chart. Blah, excuse him. Wow,
It's contagious.
yeah, it's a tough. Yeah, it's a crappy matchup. It's a crappy matchup, but I like the volume. You know, it's
Okay.
that's because I know that Russell Gage is going to get the volume. I don't know if Allen Lazard will or
Allen
not.
Lazard is even going to be involved. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to it's a risk. I'm not saying this is going to be a surefire thing, but yeah, I would roll with Russell Gage and drink a lot of Pepto-Bismol.
What if Russell Gage played for the Packers?
The
What if he
Packers? Then I would go with somebody else. The Packers. I love it.
All right. How about, and this is one clear caveat because if it's Josh Johnson, the risk is there. We've seen, although Josh Johnson played a very respectable game, if you streamed him, you're probably doing pretty well. You might have did a hell of a lot better if you went out there. You did better if you had your options were Derek Carr. There's a few others I'm trying to think of that you could have did better than Heineke. There's a lot that was out there. Tannehill. So
Herbert.
Josh Johnson, if I get, yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, that's different. You weren't streaming him over Herbert, but your point remains. If it's Huntley seems to only have eyes for Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown and nobody else. If Lamar Jackson's back, is Rashad Bateman in your Week 17 lineup over Allen Lazard?
That is interesting. Yes. But I don't say that with confidence. I do not say
obviously,
that with confidence.
by the way you dragged out, yes.
Just in case nobody got the point, by the way, yes, I think I would play Bateman. I think I would play Bateman over Allen Lazard. But I don't even like saying it. It doesn't feel right. Like it has a nasty taste in the back of my throat. It doesn't sound right to my ears. Smells funky. I don't know if I like that, but I feel like I should go Rashad Bateman, and I have really no answers as to why to help you with this decision.
Would you go Lazard?
Gut check.
If it's not Lamar Jackson, would you go Lazard?
Yeah, over Rashad Bateman is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ew.
I think I would.
Yeah,
too.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still say
That's
ew,
what it
though.
comes down to. By the way, I see all these congratulations to all you guys. I know everybody says thanks to us, and thank you for the thank yous, but still congratulations.
Yeah.
You still have to listen to our advice, and you still have to make the lineup, and you still can disagree and make your own gut call. So you deserve kudos too if you've made it, especially this year. There was one guy in the waiver column. He's like, I made 5 out of 7 championships. I'm like, how the hell did you? I didn't even do that. Like,
I got 2 out of 13.
I was like, I'm in like 5 third place games. I don't like. I'm just like the king of the thirds this year.
I think I am too. I think I'm in 4 third place games, 2 championships.
Wow.
3?
Kudos.
I don't know. I'd have to check. It's actually, I did way better this year than I did last year.
Do you remember kudos? Those were good. Do they
They
even make
were
those
good.
anymore?
So we're
Do they make them?
whatchamacallits. I don't know if they make kudos
Whatchamacall
anymore.
is good too. I mean, kudos was
Delish.
basically they took a granola bar and like, hey, let's wrap it in chocolate.
Yes.
That was their entire.
Or the 100
strategy.
grand. Oh my gosh, the 100 grands are good too. Ooh, I love that. Good
So
stuff.
next wide receiver, I see your question, Lee. We're gonna get to him in a second. So Allen Lazard, or would you play the Bourne inconsistency?
I would play the Bourne supremacy in KJ Osborne. Absolutely.
Supremacy. He is not the supremacy. He's
Whatever. He scored double digit points in the last 3 out of his 4 outings, and Adam Thielen aggravated that
barely
ankle
got to
injury.
one.
You're
Barely
welcome.
got- Wait. Are you thinking about Osborne or Bourne?
Osborne. You said
I said Bourne. I said the
Oh,
Bourne
I thought you-
inconsistency.
I was so excited about
I
KJ
see that.
Osborne that
Yeah,
I just took
I was
it
like, wait,
to the
hold on.
Osborne.
Last time I checked,
No, I think
the Bourne inconsistency is what I said.
Ouch. I would play Allen Lazard, but I don't like that because I kind of have a feeling that Kendrick Bourne could get it done against the lowly Jags. But I don't know. I think I might play Allen Lazard there. But depending on the
Okay.
weather, this is all going to be
Which
depending
you're
on what's
obviously
going
playing.
on there.
You're playing the Osborne, as you mentioned. You messed it up completely. The Osborne
I did.
supremacy.
That's me. I just messed things up. I'm here to ruin your day every Tuesday, Jake. I hope I succeed.
Well, here's, this isn't the ranking show, but I do. Let's talk about this. Is because the Osborne situation. A lot of people probably dropped him, or some, depending on the roster crunch, because Thielen was back. But Inside Injuries even mentioned on Sunday morning, if you're not following that account, make sure you're following it. They do a lot of stuff for The Athletic too, but they said would not risk Thielen. He's at the timetable that he's coming back from, high chance of aggravation, which he did, and high chance that he even makes it worse, which normally the aggravation will come into play. And we're like, all right, do I need the boomer bust play? Because can he make it through the entire game? I know the upside of Thielen if he makes it through the entire game. I mean, he has 2 touchdown upside if he makes it through.
Right.
So the aggravation, sometimes I'll be like, all right, that'll weigh my decision if I need the upside or not. When they say aggravation and can make it worse, then I'm like, oh, okay, hold the phone here. Now I don't even know when to start him, period. So that's what they said. You saw him twice aggravated, twice throw his helmet in frustration, is going to try to play as of now in week 17. So would you play Osborne over Lazard even if Thielen is playing? And that's the question.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I would play Osborne against the Packers instead of Alan Lazard from the Packers against the Vikings.
Okay. So what about Josh Palmer? Mike Evans is also unvaccinated and coming back, but Josh Palmer has a very tough matchup this week, as we mentioned with Herbert. Outside, he's getting Surtain/outside corners with the way that you beat Denver underneath Tyler Boyd's of the world. Hunter Renfrow, which scored a touchdown. We talked about it last week. Hope you listen. Yeah, so there you go. So do you trust Josh Palmer in week 17?
No. Do I have to, if I have to play him, I get it, but no, I don't trust him. If I have other options that I can possibly put in there instead of Josh Palmer, I think I would. He's absolutely touchdown dependent. I don't love this, but I understand desperate times call for desperate measures. It doesn't suck so horribly that it'd be a travesty to your lineup if you have to play him, but if you can find another place, another way to pivot, I would do so.
Okay. This duck is like shedding. Or I guess molting.
Molting, yeah.
It's like this.
That's why it's crying so much. It needs to, air its grievances.
Yeah. So let's get that last 4. I don't want to group all these together. If you had to pick one for week 17, you're desperate. Wide receiver 4. A lot of these are wide receiver 4s at this point.
Okay, I'm ready.
Zay Jones, who's basically been a very floor guy, but he's been overlooked. He's been scoring between 8 and 10. It's just not exciting. So Zay Jones, Chris Conley, who was the leading option, but Brandon Cooks might be back. Braxton Berrios, who was also the leading option, but his touchdown came in the return game. Just for everybody just to make clear on that one. Or Marvin Jones, who waited till week 17 to finally show back up again since the first time since week 8, 7, 6, or maybe even earlier than that.
4?
Of those 4, if you're desperate for a wide receiver 4, Marvin Jones, Berrios, Conley, or Zay Jones, who would you go with?
I'm going Marvin Jones Jr., baby. Come on. Don't let me down. Don't let me down, my baby. Yeah. Marvin Jones Jr. for me.
Hey,
I shouldn't.
You said junior. You just made me think about the fact, man, we never got Will Fuller the 5th this year. Like, we got a blip of him. He just never. I tell you, he just decided, I'm out of here.
That was another situation that I said stay far away. I believe we talked about this in one of our very early. I was like, no, stay away. No, gross. No.
Yes, but you also agreed that if you had the IR spot, why not? That was the whole point. My point is to go back to that. Let's be clear about that. Let's be clear. I was saying stash him in the IR spot. I wasn't like take up a bench spot. I am the king of do not waste your bench spot on like Michael Thomas.
I am the queen of don't get your hopes up on players that consistently let you down.
You're such a negative person. You talk about me. You're just so negative.
I'm so negative. I'm realistic. Okay, Will Fuller, no, garbage.
Okay, so I have a little bit of a list here that I put in the waiver column. I didn't put in the show sheet because I just want to get your idea of your interest level. So as Isaiah McKenzie is the perfect example. Last week, there are waiver options who we're not talking about today that might be waiver options by Thursday or Friday because COVID hits, and then somebody's moved up the depth charts. So running backs, I put in here, let's be clear. Do not put Cam Akers in your starting lineup if Sony Michel is playing. Please don't play that game. We're not doing that. But if Sony Michel gets COVID, they might have no other choice than to put Cam Akers out there. So I put him in this. But Samaje Perine, this is Darrell Williams. Samaje Perine, Duke Johnson. I don't want him unless it's a COVID. Like one of those gets kicked out of the conversation. Devontae Booker, Mark Ingram, Tevin Coleman, Peyton Barber, Latavius Murray, Mike Davis, Hilliard, Abdullah, Jarrett Patterson. All these names. I mean, Washington might just say, forget Antonio Gibson at this point. For all intents and purposes, they're not in the conversation anymore. So all of those, they're basically next man up running backs, which we talk about a lot. But I wanted to ask you about these wide receivers because that's the Isaiah McKenzie situation. The running backs are normally clear. The wide receivers are more like you got to kick somebody out, and then all of a sudden he's the number 2 where he was the number 3 or 4 before this. So how interested would you be in Allen Robinson if Darnell Mooney wasn't playing?
Oh, wow. Yeah,
See?
very interested.
See.
Very interested.
Like wide receiver 3?
Yeah.
Okay. He's out there in a lot of leagues. We just saw, once you pop, you can't stop Byron Pringle. Now, we have Travis Kelce coming back. But if Tyreek Hill happens to get COVID after Tyreek, because he just had it, but he wouldn't be the first to have it again, as we've just seen. So if Tyreek Hill was out, or Mecole Hardman even was out, would you have interest in Byron Pringle?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I would, but it's not as exciting like the Allen Robinson one was.
Okay. How about if Marvin Jones gets it, would you have interest in Laquan Treadwell?
Absolutely. Let's just
Are you being facetious?
I am being facetious.
I really can't tell, honestly.
I mean, yeah, I would have
Laquan
to.
Treadwell's been like the king of 5 for 55.
I know, and I don't know why I constantly am like, ew. But yeah, I think I would have interest in Laquan Treadwell. He's proven to get it done. I get it. I don't like it, but sure. I mean, yeah.
How about if DJ Moore doesn't play, whether because of the injury or COVID, would you have interest in Robbie Anderson?
No. None. Stay as far away from that whole
who's
situation.
The quarterback, by the way?
As humanly, but probably me. I'll show up in Carolina and start
How about
slinging the rock.
Devontae Smith? Would you have interest in Quez Watkins?
Yeah. Yes.
More so
Not
than
as strong
Treadwell?
as Allen Robinson, but more so than Treadwell. Yes.
More than Pringle?
More than Pringle.
Okay. How about last one? Ray McLeod.
Ray.
If Deontay Johnson, because Claypool's already dealing with the toe and he's kind of in and out of the rotation. He was behind him in snaps the 2 weeks prior, but then jumped him this past week, although it wasn't a big game for Claypool. So I'm saying all that to say, if Deontay Johnson was out, would you have interest in Ray McLeod?
I don't know. It'd be a tough call for me. Depending on who is playing at quarterback too.
I mean, it's still Roethlisberger.
Yeah. No. They don't do anything. They don't do anything until the fourth quarter, and then even this most
But it
recent week,
happens every time. I like Justin Fields. It's at least you can count on it.
Yeah, but you couldn't count on it this last week. It's gross.
Still got some production.
And
Deontay got his touchdown.
I'm sorry. No, I can't even dive into the Ray McLeod.
Ray was the target on that god awful throw to the right, which was ever. So before we get out of here, defenses. I have a couple streaming options. Some good matchups this week. Cleveland, potential good situation. Hey, Pittsburgh, sacks, potential turnovers. Chicago gets the Giants. Seattle, another good matchup. Giants get the Bears. I mean, if it's Justin Fields, might get sacks. Whoever the quarterback is, you might get opportunities there. Oh, there's Nick Foles. He might be the safest of all of them. Colts, Titans, Panthers. Any of those defenses, give us your top 2 of those that you would pick off waivers if you need to stream one this week.
My absolute favorite is Chicago. Love Chicago against the Giants. And the other one, I kind of want to say Seattle. I want to say Seattle. Is it going to be Glennon or is it going to be Fromm again? I don't know.
It's going to be. They made the change in that game. Really?
That's true.
Even with Jared Goff back, you would go Seattle? I can't believe I just said that sentence.
I know.
I almost dropped the F-bomb. I almost said F 2021. Jared Goff almost made me just drop an F-bomb.
Wait, hang on. There was one more. Let me go back. Let me take a look here.
Cleveland against Pittsburgh. Saints, you just crapped all over Ben Roethlisberger.
I did. So I do like Cleveland. Saints are like 70% rostered, I think. But if they are somehow, some way available, they're playing Carolina. Just like I was saying, that hot mess. Whatever's going on with Carolina, I love the Saints too. So by far, but my favorite is the Chicago Bears.
Okay. We love you guys. Hopefully you love us.
We love
too.
you.
Yeah, follow Stepmom Lauren at her site and at her Twitter handle. And we'll be back tomorrow to talk Week 17 championship ranks, which you still won't have to start tomorrow. You still have plenty of time. Please stay tuned. And we'll be back. Reminder, no Monday show next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, same time, same bets channel. You see what I did there? See you later.
I like it.